Hello everyone, nubkeks here and welcome back to Nub Raids, and in today's video we're checking out a brand new game that just came out on the 13th of November. It is called Ash Echoes and it is a sick new gacha game with incredibly unique mechanics. And yeah, we're going to be taking an early look at it here in today's video. Big shout out to Ash Echoes for sponsoring this video and letting me actually jump on and test the game before it went live so I could show you all this cool stuff. Before we dive in and start breaking everything down, if at any point during the video you decide you want to check out the game for yourself, which you should, you'll find a link in the description and the pinned comment down below. If you download on PC or on mobile, you'll get 200 free pulls for the release of the game following the link, so make sure to click and give it a go. Well, let's dive into some combat. Let's see some action. Here we go. Let's dive in. I mean, as you can see, probably initially, there is crazy team building in this game. That is one of the biggest things. The tactics and the strategy of it, and putting all of your characters together is like just on another level. When we actually jump into the fight, you have 4 active members of your team at any point, and then you've got another 4 that can be there in reserve. And this is cool. During the battle, you can actually jump in and you can then swap in one of your backup members and sub them in for someone who's already fighting, right? Which gives you a ton of flexibility, right? Oh, a bunch of AoE enemies spawned in. I want to swap in. Here's my favorite character, by the way. We're going to talk more about him. Oh, it's so sick. Professor X. He is jealous, right? But you jump in. 4 characters on the field, 4 in backup. You also have got a leader. We'll talk about the leader a little bit later on, which gives you a huge amount of customizability, and there's like a roguelike mode that's all about it. But as you can see, combat is just happening in real time, but you're getting these powerful abilities back for your team. You can also choose to reposition your team as well as enemies are spawning in. And sort of the crux of the battle is that you are trying to protect your base, right? Your core module. That is what you're trying to protect. There are boss enemies, waves of smaller enemies, lots of things going on. We're creating elemental zones on the floor. You can have elemental reactions. There's all sorts of crazy stuff happening, and you can actually choose to drag and reposition all of those abilities to put them, here we go, to place them exactly where you want to place them. There is also an auto mode. It didn't work for this fight, the auto mode, because this is like a particular boss fight. That's worry. You can also leave the game going on auto mode, which will play most of it for you, but you can then jump in and decide, no, actually, I want to reposition this as I want while everything else is still happening on auto. You can do that. So yeah, a ton of like just cool tactical gameplay. That's the core gameplay of this game. Another thing about this game that is really cool to me is when you are farming up materials to upgrade like your characters, your traces, that sort of stuff. When you're completing a stage for the first time, you have to do it, obviously, a proper battle. But when you want to then redo it, you can do a quick battle. I can say, okay, give me 5 quick battles. Quick battle. And there we go. Boom. Done. Job done. Just like that. Instant completion. So good. It's so good. And another huge focus in Ash Echoes is its story. Now, not all of it was available for me here in early access. I did reach the limit. I don't want to spoil any major plot points, but you've got full Japanese voice acting for all of the different characters. Yeah, with pretty much every mission in the campaign, there's a story to go alongside it. You're meeting new characters. It's a really cool setting. That's probably the favorite thing or my favorite thing about it. The setting, sci-fi or post-apocalyptic. There's definitely some multiverse, timey-wimey stuff happening. Yeah, it's pretty cool. It reminded me a lot of a couple of games I've played kind of recently, like Scarlet Nexus or 13 Sentinels, Aegis Rim. Games sort of like that sort of sci-fi anime. If that genre is your jam, then this game is going to be right down your alley. Another thing to mention actually at this point is that it is really well optimized for PC. To me, that is something that's important with a mobile game, is that you can play on PC as well. That's something that just pushes things to the next level. There's a nice level of customization too. If you want to go into that customization, you can even customize like the speed in the battles, all of that, how often you want to see their skill animations, etc. So lots and lots of settings that you can tweak to customize and get things running smoothly the way you want. And yeah, Works great on PC. Now let's take a look at probably the most important thing for a lot of you, which is the characters. And they've done an outstanding job in this game. You can see there's a mix of 6-star characters, which are like super rare, 5 stars, even 4 stars as well. You know, this is everyone I've got so far from playing. You get those 200 pulls for free when you start the game at global launch. Following that link in the description, it seems pretty generous. Like, you're gonna get some good stuff and you're gonna be able to build up some cool teams. But what I like a lot, number one, they've said, you know, a lot of these Japanese style games, they often have a whole lot of female characters, cute females, and no cool badass guys to balance it out. There is a focus in this game on bringing you a big diversity of characters and a 50-50 gender balance. But I'm going to come back to Tong in a second. He's my favorite, no question. Let's jump in here. But like Caroline, cool, cutesy, alchemy, very nice. Then we jump over to Reed, and he's like fire roller skates. I've been using him a lot. He's actually really cool. But there's just such a mix of different characters in this game, which I think is really cool. And they all feel very unique, very different. Puppet Girl, she throws out her puppet in combat and like spins around, big AoE damage. But there is such a mix of characters and vibe and art style. Yeah, they're also unique. Everyone stands out. It's pretty awesome. Ice Ferret, she's actually very handy. Belia, she's a healer. Definitely have needed her for some of the harder fights. She has made a really big impact in those fights. Or then Laurel, she's the other 6-star character that I've got so far. She is a DPS and a tank. So bringing that in. Again, she's that sort of more serious, more elegant. I like it. Let me see who else was really cool. I did quite like Rodney over here, who's just like, sick of it, man. He's got the attitude. I dig it. That's really fun. Or then one of the coolest characters that you'll meet in the story as well was Mars. Hang on. Here we go. Mars, he's just badass. Love it. Shield breaking, burst damage. Sick. Mars is cool. My favorite, though, the number one for me, and let's take a look at some of his abilities as well, has got to be Tong. Like I said, Professor X from X-Men, eat your heart out. Like, again, just talk about cool, unique character designs in a game. Like Tong, he is in this floating armchair or wheelchair that has like floating turrets and rockets and everything. It's just unbelievably cool. Like, they have knocked it out of the park with this design. For Tong, what does he have going on? You'll have seen him in some of the gameplay. We'll return to some gameplay in just a second here as well. But he has, on the 20-second cooldown, his guided missiles. He's got 5 uses of these per combat. Big area damage, which is great. And then if you've got 5 enemies in there, it's going to use up an extra skill and then release extra missiles as well. Oh, using up extra missiles, no problem. Thanks to his auto Gorgon defense here. 20-second buff with a 40-second cooldown. It's going to heal him up 3% HP per second, so he's tanky as well. He can take a hit. And then while he's in defense mode, he's going to be firing from his missile containers, inflicting petrification, disabling enemies, making them take more damage, and it's going to give him back some uses of his active guided missiles as well, which is cool. Then his ultimate, his seed, is bombardment, where he just unleashes firepower, firing all of his weapons, laser beams, everything. Unbelievably cool, right? So he is brilliant. Big fan of Tong right here. Yeah, he's my favorite. There's no question. It's just so unique. He's brilliant. And how do we get those characters? Well, let's dive in. Actually, there is some guaranteed characters that you can get. There's one for 30 when you first start playing the game. A guaranteed one of the 6 stars. I got Tong myself, and I actually chose to get Laurel. But you can choose any of these every few. So these are some of the strongest characters in the game. Let's just show you what a 10 pull looks like so you can see. Hopefully we get something new. Here we go. I love this with the animation that you crank the lever when you're doing your pulls, which is really, really fun. And here we go. Can we get something good? Oh, we've got 3 5 stars in here. That's nice. No 6-star, but that's okay. Got ourselves a copy of Mars. Who do we get here? Okay, it's someone we already have. Okay, it's a duplicate right there. Right? If it's a new person, it plays an animation. If it's a duplicate, and you can use those dupes to power up your characters. If it's a dupe, it won't play an animation. I probably have all of the 4 stars at this point. Oh, got ourselves another character I've already got. Here we go. Somebody new. Who do we get? We got Roar. Cool. Okay. Very cutesy. I love it. Reminds me a bit of like Diva or something like that. Awesome. And let's finish off our pulls here. That's just to give you a sense for what you're going to get. We could dive again and all of that. We're going to get some extra goodies, extra bonuses. And there's also, I haven't talked about the trace system. Let's break that down. Something that is super, super unique about this game, and I'm really interested to see where this goes, is not only do you pick the characters that are fighting in a fight, but you also have a leader. Now, that leader can equip these things called traces, these memory traces, and you can power those up and they give you different effects. But the big thing about this is you have a special mode called the Echoing Nexus, and this is actually a rogue-like mode, and you explore that with your leader, and as you go, you make choices that then increase their stats, power up their traces, and this stuff will build up over the course of your run. You want to get as far as possible, every step of the way, customizing your leader, and then at the end of that, you can actually save that leader depending on the points that you built up, the skill points. You can then unlock the skills that you got during your run and carry those over into the main game. And then you just have those on that leader for the main game until you go back and rerun it with a different leader to switch it up. So it's just a huge amount of customization that's boosting all the stats of the different units that you're using and unlocking extra skills and passives and things for them to use. Just really unique. I've never seen a game do anything quite like it. So yeah, I'm very, very excited and interested to see all the tactical applications of that. There you go, guys. That is my look at Ash Echoes. There's also tons of other stuff in this game that I've been finding that are really cool. You can have tea with your characters. Go for some tea time. Reminding me a lot of Fire Emblem. Three Houses actually was really cool. Go for tea time. There was a whole research system and like training up your Echomancers as well, like training fields. Lots and lots of features in this game. It's jam-packed with features and characters. So yeah, look, thanks once again to Ash Echoes for sponsoring this video. I've had a ton of fun checking and having an early look at this game pre-release. Now the game is out again. It released on the 13th of November. Go and grab it. You can find the link in the description down below. As I've said a couple of times, there's 200 pulls for free when you install the game here on global launch. So make sure to do it and check it out if you are interested. Let me know what you think of the game as well. And yeah, I'll catch you all next time. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.